President Trump is spending aside to affordable health care charges and taking action to lower drug prices. The president has made it clear patients with pre-existing conditions will be protected. The individual mandate penalty has been eliminated. Association health plans have been expanded. Short-term limited duration insurance plans have been extended. President Trump launched a campaign to drive down drug prices, leading more than a dozen drug manufacturers to enact price freezes, reductions, or rollbacks. The administration has proposed a rule to require insurance companies and group health plans to provide enrollees with cost estimates. The Trump administration has promoted innovation and solutions to expand treatment options for Americans living with disease including HIV, Alzheimer's, and more. Signed a bipartisan Tobacco-Free Young Act to raise the nationwide age for purchasing tobacco and vaping products to 21 years old. Costly Obamacare taxes were repealed, including the Cadillac tax and the medical device tax. One of the most critical debates of the President Trump is immigrant policies. Opponents and people have used these issues to proclaim the president inhuman, which is in fact, they left out the most important part. President Donald Trump is trying to end illegal immigrants, prohibit only illegal immigrants. Broader understanding, illegal immigrants is one of the biggest issues that lead to social disorders as well as weakening economy. Most of illegal immigrants join the gangs that harm the stability and security of America, which in turn burden the economy as they would be willing to do works without basic rights or doing illegal works. The Trump administration has constructed 400 miles of the new border wall system with Mexico. The new wall has contributed to a 56% overall decrease in the number of illegal migrant arrivals at the border. Under President Trump, the U.S. Border Patrol has arrested hundreds of members of the dangerous gangs. The president has strongly enforced the nation's immigrant laws by cracking down on illegal immigrants and taking aim at the sanctuary cities. President Trump was successful in his efforts to get Mexico and the Northern Triangle countries to step up and have stopped the crisis at the border. President Trump's successful negotiations have led to the 28% drop in migrants taken into custody in June. The administration has made it a priority to end the human trafficking and is using many resources to do so. The administration provided funding to support the National Human Trafficking Hotline. The Anti-Trafficking Coordination Team initiated more than double convictions of human traffickers and increased the number of defendants charged in the AC team districts. There were various arguments over the COVID, and it is seen a death point of President Trump in the campaign running for the second terms of the presidencies. 1. Early reaction toward the COVID before it is really get into the bad situation. 2. The action toward situation as of what's happening now. Up until the COVID situation got out of control, there are still plenty of Americans anti-masks. They even go for the rallies against wearing masks.
Are you going to allow the government to tell you you have to wear a mask?
Currently, 34 states have mask mandates, and polls show a majority of Americans will support a national mask mandate as well. For many Americans, wearing a mask is going against their own freedom. Then, back to the first scenario. Imagine that the government required wearing masks before the situation had been out of control. What American would react? People might be laughing at the president saying that he showed weaknesses. He went against their freedom, or even worse, would have called him someone who are not strong enough to lead such a full upright America. A lot of people go against wearing masks despite the bad situation of the COVID, let alone cities stay locked down to avoid COVID. Even in worse situations, there were still plenty of people severely go against the quarantine, lockdown order of the government. It was such a controversial situation in America. This is not a rare anti-lockdown activist attitude throughout America. Let's see another case of how the young people react to the COVID during the time that the case increased crazily in America and cities are required to quarantine and lock down. Colleges and universities across the nation have struggled to prevent students from throwing or attending parties in an effort to limit the spread of COVID-19. Again, a reminder to everyone, this happened when the situation has been chaotic in America. So, in case COVID is under control, not to be so crazy, and the government order a quarantine to the cities and states, how would most of Americans actually react toward the announcement? Whether people would follow the orders or the situation even worse? To be truthful to everyone's self, the high possibility of what would happen is an absolute chaos and more riotous toward the mass and lockdown orders, when the situation not happening yet. In the second scenario, which has happened now, whether the president really believe or not believe in his official statements or his Twitter, it is one of the ways to get less chaotic in such a freedom society as America and try to save the economy. The freedom that has been strongly emphasized in the Charter and the pride of the great American from a psychological point of view, the president tried to save the pride and the value in which engraved in the American history and culture. Now look at the economy of America from the beginning of the COVID until now. As the outbreak of the COVID in March, the pandemic affected badly to the economy and there was no doubt a significant decline in the economy in March and April 2020. However, beginning from May, the economy recovered well underway. With the historic third quarter growth, the U.S. is a single quarter has now recovered 2/3 in the economy output loss due to the pandemic during the first half years. In the recovery from the 2008 and 2009 recession, it took 4 times as long to regain the same share of the lost economic output. The immediate CARES Act was passed by the Congress with the overwhelming support and signed into the law by the President on March 27, 2020 has done a great deal to the quick recovery of the American economy. This $2.7 trillion economic relief package delivers protect the American people from the public health and economic impacts of the COVID-19. The CARES Act provides fast and direct economic assistance for American workers, families, and small businesses and preserve jobs for American industries. The growth in the third quarter and the particular strength of the American consumers also reflects the swiftness and magnitude of the CARES Act, which is roughly 13% as the share of the GDP. That is more than twice the size of the 2009 American Recovery and Reinvestment Act as a share of the GDP. This direct act supported Americans' income through the pandemic. Total personal income rose above and still remain above pre-pandemic levels. And Trump has taken steps to protect the nation's seniors and the most vulnerable. The administration raised the infectious disease standard at nursing homes. Lorry and critical assistance continue to be delivered to the seniors. HHS announced nearly $1 billion in grants to assist old adults providing necessary services. President Trump also took important measures to secure the border and keep the nation safe. The president quickly issued the travel notice for China and increased airport screening before there was a case in the U.S. The administration secured the border and issued critical travel restrictions which slowed the spread. President Trump announced the U.S. is putting a 60-day pause on immigration to ensure American workers are protected. The administration secured the border and issued critical travel restrictions which slowed the spread. The State Department brought home more than 50,000 Americans stranded overseas as a result of the COVID travel restrictions. The China issue is also a hectic discussion of the Trump presidencies. Since the start of the presidencies, President Trump has raised the issues of China in terms of intellectual property rights and attacked on Huawei due to the national security. Up to 2020, the Trump administration has amplified campaigns to harm activities of Chinese technology companies, widening its focus from Huawei to 5G to the Chinese social media apps like TikTok and WeChat. There's a fact that the IT company and AI technology of China have grown dramatically in recent years. And different from America, The growth of IT companies so close with the backup of the Chinese government. Back to the past around 10 years or more, China has forbidden foreign application and IT platforms, especially Google, Facebook, and other popular chat applications, and forced the people to use their own IT platform instead, in which they have exactly the same function as the foreign ones. At the growth of Chinese economy and their population not only in China, but every places in the world, the application and platform are used so popular worldwide, and though not making so much noise, the IT products come and gain the world. The popularity of TikTok as an outstanding example. Therefore, in the fourth industrial revolution, how to be ahead in the technology, especially AI, is the key to the combat. Hunt of Chinese IT products and companies should have been carried out much earlier, just like the way the China have done. Moreover, the closeness of the IT company to the Chinese government in a ways is a threat to America. Therefore, it is reasonable that President Trump required Huawei, TikTok, WeChat, and other Chinese IT companies had to obey American rule no matter what on American land. Down to earth, on a larger scale and deeper point of view, the President's Act is seen to protect the competitiveness of the American IT companies as well as remain the strength of Great America. Everyone surely have an understanding of what's happening in May 2020 to George Floyd, and as a matter of fact, leading to the Black Matter issues not only in America. Before giving more details and another more neutral point of view to this matter, we have to admit that America has had a black president for 2 terms, which means to some broader extent, the matter is not as what it was in the past. Then the point President Trump opposed the Black Matter before this incident happened, according to the facts, it showed clear that President Donald Trump is very few president really care about the black in the real action. Not a very nice talk in public, but he brings jobs to the black American and get the lowest unemployment rate on record, the poverty rate record low. In another word, the president has done a great deal to bring better life for the black American. Now we have a closer look and step-by-step of George Floyd case in flowing body cam. There are a few short points to address. The police are trying to talk nicely to George Floyd for quite long minutes. George Floyd was begging not to be put in the car, preferred to be on the ground than the car, and he said he can't breathe even before he is on the ground. Then what were delivered to the public through the media court and was not original as the way media given news. The consequences that the media tried to do and succeeded in bringing about the tide fight toward the Black Matter, which caused more violence, to attack the police and bringing up the Black Matter issues for whatever purposes on their mind. A lot of protestants go violent barefaced and could possibly lead to a strike in COVID that could make a pandemic situation in America go worse, which caused more violence days later, and the protests continue up until now. The situation got worse when those protestants became too violent and harmed the innocents. As on the critical matter that America is facing this year, the media take a big part of contribution. Taking George Floyd as example, by the time the incident happened in May, the media has made a movie out of the video they have at the critical point of time, which is the peak of the COVID pandemic spreading in America. At the same time, their direct challenge, China is gaining back the strength and push up the economy as a whole. Recently, what Facebook and Twitter have done is trying to hold up the news from New York Post that make clear more of how America has been divided and there is no freedom of press in the freedom country as America. Media initially to deliver the updated information to the public. However, as of today, the assistance is no longer the initial purposes. As a sum of statistics shown in these 2 videos, for American sake, President Trump is not the best president in the history, but the proper president for the current situation of America. On most his terms, President alone fighting against not only democratic but also various kinds of media, and he still fulfilled domestic issues as well as international affairs at the right time for each matter. At this crucial point of time in the history, when the Americans still on their way getting back their strength, the America is at its peak time of voting the president which can be either saving and bringing the face for the country, or making Americans a weaker voice. It would depend much on how they look at the facts and not judge things based on their prejudice. God bless America.